nothing's wrong. Does that sound familiar? I'm sure you've had an experience something like that with your husband or your honey when you're trying to get him to talk to you, but he has this kind of sticky lid that you can't quite loosen up. You've probably been trying to do it the way your girlfriends respond to, like, what's the matter? I'd like to help. If you process, you'll feel better. But for some reason, inconceivable to most women, that sticky lid just seals up tighter than ever. You want to know why? And you want to know what you can do about it? I've got 5 key approaches for you today, plus 2 of the most important phrases and most effective phrases, the most valuable phrases that you will ever use as a wife. Want to loosen him up? Then stick with me.
You and me, we could be on top of the world.
Hi, I'm Ramona Zabriskie. Women in over 70 countries think of me as their marriage mentor, and I'm happy to be your wife saver today in the context of one of the world's most Googled questions: how do I get my husband to talk to me? You can't pound it out of him. You can't prod it out of him. You won't get anything worth keeping or working with, let alone treasuring that way. Too often, Cupid's arrow feels like a bullet to him. The secret is to position yourself as his intimate, his one true intimate, the one that he feels his most comfortable with, most himself with, the one that inspires him, that he can trust and open up to when he feels like it, which may not be when you feel like it. In fact, I hate to start out this way, but we've got to get this one bombshell. It's kind of inconvenient, but we got to get this one bombshell out of the way right away. I know you say that you want him to open up to you, to talk to you, but the truth is, you really don't. Say what? When we women say that we want him to open up to us, to optimally, really be emotionally intimate with us, what we're really saying is that we want him to listen to us, and that what we want to hear from him is how much he needs us and loves us. And of course, it's very nice to hear those things once in a while. But that kind of one-way affirmation, that's not really intimacy, is it? From now on, when you and I talk about becoming his intimate, what we're talking about is building a partnership, a rich, reciprocal, rock-solid partnership. The kind of relationship, the kind of bonding that only gets stronger and stronger through the decades, that kind of cohesiveness where there's just nothing can come between you. But in order to create that kind of relationship, you're going to have to be open to his becoming more, open. And here's why that's easier said than done. Wives often become uncomfortable when their husband really does open up and reveals just how susceptible he is to worry and fear and doubt. Because we are susceptible to those very things ourselves, deep down, we are actually counting on or craving his stability, his strength. And it would be great if he could be there for us, if he could do that for us throughout a 50-year marriage consistently. But he is human after all. And if we're asking him to be vulnerable with us so that we can feel closer to him and that we can be a better partner or ally to him, then what we're asking for is the truth. And the truth for any human being, men included, isn't always pretty or pleasant, is it? For instance, A mentee poloed me the other day that she and her husband went for a little after dinner stroll, and out of the blue, after they'd been talking about other things, he just casually said that he kind of felt like he was in bondage because of the mortgage and the family and so forth. He couldn't always do what he wanted to do. He was in bondage? Yikes. What are you supposed to say to that? Well, this mentee said that in the old days, before her studies with me, she would have been filled whenever he brought up difficult feelings like fear, sadness. She would have been thrown totally off base, like surprise, alarm, or knot in her stomach, panic, fear. And she immediately defaulted, of course, to judging or overreacting or trying to fix him. But that was the old days. Now, as a student of WifeSaver principles, she was excited to tell me that when he talked about being in bondage, she just calmly replied, "Yeah, I feel that way too sometimes." Wow, that wasn't reacting. That was responding, a much more peaceful, productive, proactive kind of approach that not only guaranteed a really peaceful rest of the walk and actually a really fun night with the family where they got to cuddle on the couch and play games with the kids. That sounds really fun. But it also guaranteed that he would be less reticent, even eager to open up to her again and again. Now, if you want that same kind of outcome, you're going to have to follow her example. And I have 5 key approaches for you, plus a bonus, but you are going to have to use your wifely intuition to discern which is the most effective approach in any given situation. Number 1, listen for what he can teach you. This mentee and her husband, as they're strolling along, they'd been talking about a lot of other things. He'd shared a little bit about his work, or she'd ask a little bit about what he thought on this world or current affair, that kind of thing. And because they'd had this sort of rock solid, fact-based kind of conversation, he was feeling close to her. He was feeling comfortable and relaxed, and that's why he opened up to her. And you can do the same. Let him share with you some fact, something or other, and really listen with genuine interest and curiosity and ask for more. And then after a while of that, you can say, "And how do you feel about that?" And chances are, hopefully, he'll tell you. And then, number 2, listen with respect. When you listen to his emotions, his confidence, his revelations with respect, what you're doing is granting him the time and the space that he needs to figure it out for himself and to improve himself. One of the phrases that you're going to find more helpful than just about any other in this kind of conversation, no matter what your gut reaction is, interesting. Number 3, listen with love. That is, with compassion. Try in your own mind to couch his feelings in the context of his fears. The fear of failure, for instance, or the fear of dependence, or uselessness, or neglect. Number 4, listen objectively. For instance, you can view anger as a sort of lack of control, or you can see it as frustration over a blocked goal. Some people think of sadness as an emotional disorder, when really it's an indication of something missing in life. And fear, we can think of fear as a sign of cowardice, or we can see it as an indication of insecurity. So what we're doing is looking at his difficult emotions as clues to what is really going on inside. Listen with a question. When your guy does open up, if you feel like you really have to give him some kind of input, then be soft about it and frame it in the form of a question. This question approach is the best way to alleviate his fear of dependence by showing respect for his independence. And last but not least, here's your bonus with the phrase that's going to be more valuable to you than any other as a wife. Listen with curiosity. That just means using this phrase. Help me understand, sweetheart. That is so juvenile. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I can't believe you just said that. So it's my fault? I'm never good enough, am I? Listen, I have a better idea. Interesting. I didn't know that. Ooh, such a challenge. I know you'll figure it out. That must be so difficult. I can only imagine. You sound sad, honey. Or maybe a little afraid? What would happen if you approached it this way? Is this what you mean? Help me to understand. Choosing to treat the less than positive emotions in your man with curiosity and respect and value rather than dismissing them as unimportant or weak or threatening is absolutely critical to encouraging closeness between the two of you. Any other reaction versus responding will shut him up tight and drive him away from you. All right, then. With all the optimal attitudes and approaches in place, you're ready for that conversation when he actually does open up to you. So let me know what you are interested in that way, just down there in the comments, and I will do my best to create a video for you on that topic. And if you want to be the first to know when that topic pops up, then of course you'll want to subscribe to this channel. You can also click the link in the description box to save your seat at my free upcoming live masterclass, Understanding Your Husband and Sons, where I'll really pull back the curtain on his brain, body, and emotional underbelly. It's as empowering as it is eye-popping. When you attend that class, you are going to get so much more information on why he thinks and feels the way he does that will really lend itself to more of the kind of conversation that you are craving. Again, that link is in the description. As always, I'm so happy to be your wife saver. See you next time.
Websites can be compromised by hackers, so it's really important to look for that S at the end of HTTP.
And how do you feel about that?